One, two, three. Okay, so for today we are going to start learning about use cases. So on the last two videos we learned about what Terraform is, what it does, and how we can implement it into our code, and how we can write the best syntax, the best form, and what is the best, let's say, naming conventions that we can use for Terraform. We also made some initialization of installing our Terraform in our machine, how we can Terraform init into it, how we can plan it, apply it, and validate. And we haven't reached out to this straight topic yet, because that's a different topic that I'd like to handle it a bit better on a different scenario, a different video. But for today and for this video, I just want to, let's say, show some use cases and also learn something new about use cases where Terraform is being used. So if you have seen other videos, you might have noticed that I have a pen and actually this is papers with an S in the end. Okay. I don't know if YouTube will catch my bad pronunciation in English as a swear word, but let's give it a try. Uh, so I usually have a pen and paper, so it's way better for you to have a clear thing on your mind. So you need to design your architecture. You need to have your own idea what you need to do first, and then you can go right away and do it via Terraform. As I've already mentioned this, a lot of times you can use different source providers for Terraform, AWS, GCP, Azure. There is another one which I don't want to mention. It's called AliExpress one. Uh, uh, yeah, it's Alibaba, but it's for fun calling AliExpress. Okay, so we already know what Terraform is. It's just infrastructure as a code, where it is easier for us to write it and also easier for the machines to run it. But in these use cases, it is just like multi-cloud deployment. So we can also see about how multi-cloud deployment can be done. What do we understand with multi-cloud? Multi-cloud is that you can have one, two, or more source providers. You can deploy them. So in this case, Terraform has let's say, a mini tutorial or mini demo or a small exercise you can try to provision your Kubernetes cluster in Azure and AWS environments. So we can give it a try. And yeah, this is really awesome. They use console, which is like the middleman in this case, which will tell. Yeah, well, I'll give you a really cool example for this. You have your GitHub, right? You write your code on GitHub and you deploy to your main branch. And this commit that you did, this merge that you did, this one will go directly to Terraform, which is to Terraform Cloud or Terraform. Let's say if you are keeping it on host in-house, that's okay. It's the same thing. And okay, so you you tell Terraform that I've created a Kubernetes a cluster in two different source providers, one in AWS and another one in Azure. So you have the HashiCorp console, which is another byproduct, let's say, of HashiCorp, which is also the, let's say, the Terraform. And not finding the real word in English for it. So you can also give it a try. There are a lot of tutorials. I think it's a bit of trial for a couple of days, but it's not. If you want to deal with multi-cloud providers, if you are smart enough, you don't have to use console, and you can make some workarounds for yourself. Which is really cool. That's why I like infrastructure as a code, not only Terraform but also other tools. because source providers will throw you into a huge bush of different money grabbers applications. But if you hire a good engineer or a good software developer or a good DevOps or good IT or a good architecture, he will know how to make some workarounds and he can save some costs for you. But yeah, Terraform will always suggest you some tools that you need to buy them if you want to use this. Uh, Okay, so we do not have an AWS account. I do not have an Azure account for this demo. And yeah, I have the kubectl and Azure CLI, but I have not prepared the Azure account for this. But I think pretty much of you get the idea of what does it mean. So you'll just merge or commit to your main branch in Terraform, and Terraform will trigger it, and this one will create clusters in AWS and also in Azure. And what what console does is just syncs and makes sure both of these sort provider, which they have different names. It might be internal load balancer in Azure, while in AWS it might be just load balancer. So it makes sure it's synced and it has the right properties, the right configurations, and also it's easier if you make one change to another and to the vice versa. So that's why it is really nice. So in this case, okay, I do not have any account. Da -da -da. Okay, this is a long one. It's 11 p.m. Okay. So in this case, they just want us to clone this one of our repos, and it's yes, this one. Okay, that's nice, but do I want that? No. And they want us to go into here, and I am already there now. Okay, hopefully this is a bit better. Okay, this is a bit better. And now we have to provision the AKS, but I don't think I have installed AKS into my machine. But okay, so I have to. Sorry. And yeah, I'm already in AKS, and this is the configuration file in this directory, which has the kubernetes.tf, main.tf, outputs, variables, and versions.tf. If you have seen my other tutorials, you would understand all right away why these guys have messed up and what do these files mean. So you can also check my other videos and you can understand that what is the meaning of these files. And yeah, the creation of this directory creates a design network to place your EKS resources. It also provisions EKS cluster and an auto-scaling group of working to run the workflow. Okay, that's nice. So they want us to open main.tf, and if you can see main.tf file, we have a provider for AWS. We call a data which is it should be already created, called AWS availability zones, and we have none of the regions available. We have the locals, the name of our cluster. It's going to call education EKS, a random character suffix. This is how we generate the random strings. This is the module for the VPC in AWS, and we are going to call this and we're going to call it education EKS CIDR. Yeah, it's we learned it yesterday. What CIDR is, I think, is cross um, uh, classless interdomain routing. Yeah, that's what CIDR stands for. It's weird because we just did it like less than 24 hours ago. Yeah, I need to take a break a little bit, but take let's not worry or talk about more for it. So in this case, we have put it two different categories of network, which is the private subnets and the public subnets. And if you can see, our CIDR is 24, which is okay for normal hosts. We do not want anything huge, but we have our class B. And also for our CIDR, we tell him, hey, I want class B, but this is going to be huge. And this makes sense because this is our let's say our CIDR or VPC, and this is how we need to tell. I need to be safe and sound in the future, because the cluster will be huge if we put a lot of containers into it. And yeah, we just put a name with a cluster. We get the ID with a variable, with a module. Sorry, and we get all of those. But you might have one questions one day that you will say, okay, but why? Maybe I should go around here. Okay, yeah, it's better now. But one day you'd say to me that, okay, how do I know that Terraform wants to have this specific attribute, this specific template, and this specific resources? And it's really, really easy. So you can go in, okay, let me, you can just search for your in Google. You can just Google it and just say here Terraform AWS. And not only Terraform developers, not only HashiCorp developer, but you also have other modules, other plugins that community, the open source community, has developed for you, me, for everyone. And yeah, it'll give us some examples. And if you like, for example, okay, let's go for VPC. And we have API gateway. We have the virtual private clouds. Okay, let's work with a default network. And boom. I get like an example what I need to do. If I want to create a AWS VPC, as our Terraform suggests, in this case, yeah, yeah, something like this. Did I lose that? Yeah, it's there. Yep, he created also the CIDR block, which is almost it's not the same. Yeah, but this is the default network. I'm pretty sure you can find. Okay, this is nice. It looked nice. I do not know. Resource. No. Hmm. WS route default. Yeah, let's go with default. But I just wanted to give like an example of where you can find the templates and other. This is how I usually do it. If I want to create some of the resources, and I say, for example, an S3 bucket, I'll just search for the S3 and okay, S3 simple storage. Now we get, okay, this is the first one, S3 bucket. And here I would understand that right away that, okay, this is how it is called. I can give here a name of mine, of my choice, and the attribute needed is a bucket, and of course tags, which is looks pretty easy, right? But of course, it's not that easy because you have other. It's easy to configure on a default values, But if you saw here like a huge other attributes, other options you can add in here, that is easier for you to set up that bucket. So this is how you can import that. We don't need that, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you want, for example, to get a metric of the S3 bucket, you can just use the wait. Yeah, something the FWS3 bucket metric. You give the ID. You get the ID from the output of that bucket, and also you can give it just a string name that it's that you want, something like that. And of course, don't most important, don't forget the tags. And yeah, let's go back into here. So we created a VPC. We added a really nice tags. Okay. Uh, Guess on a tag. Okay, that's really nice. How this guy is. Okay, this is a really good how you can add those tags into here. He has put like okay, this one ends here. This it looks like it's only one tag, but looks theoretically it looks like it's three. But but let's be sure and see how Terraform will check that. I was in main.df. Okay, okay, I don't, yeah, it's not like different public standard. Okay. Terraform, AWS module, EKS. Okay, so this is from the registry. Yeah, it is really interesting. Okay. So they created tags over here, and they defined those tags via the how do I call that? That's just really nice and really cool if you think about it and how you're gonna do that. And yeah, we were here, so we created also the cluster, the virtual private. What was this? What was the? I think it's called like visual private. No, let's see. Virtual private cloud. Sorry, I was this close to say the cloud. Okay, so we have this module which is called for the access things, IRSA, EVS, SCI. So this is how we give the roles and the access in AWS. So in this case, he just created a new role called Amazon AKS Theater for Terraform EBS SCIR role, and we also put the suffix of our name of the cluster. Okay, so we get the provider URL, role policy ARNS, and also the AWS EKS add-on. Ah, this is really cool. I want to show you guys why it is really nice. I don't know if I can find it right away. Yes, I did find it right away. of these resources. And yeah, as I said, there are a lot of modules, a lot of add-ons created by Terraform developers and also by the community, which is really, really nice. And I suggest everyone should contribute in some way or to another into Terraform and this kind of applications. Unfortunately, Terraform is no longer open source, but you know, you get the idea what I'm trying to say. This is an example how we can create a core DNS. This is how we can call the resource EKS add-ons. You need a name of the cluster, add-on name, a version if you want to resolve the conflicts, falls through. In this case, this guy is the best way to choose override sometimes if you want to have orphans over there, and the values of configuration and etc etc. Okay, so that's pretty much what this is, the main.tf file. So we went into there, so we opened. Sure, you are creating, okay. And they want us to give a review of the outputs.tf file. The outputs of the outputs.tf file, it just will give us, will say output everything that we say. For example, if we say to the if you write to the output file and to the ID name, usually these are the most known, and with this output we can call it into our other files. So in our outputs.tf file that we have the class ID, we have the region, which is okay, nice. It's not okay. It's sometimes you can use it in this way, sometimes you don't have to use it, so it depends on you. And we have also outputted the cluster name here. So we have done everything, looks fine, and yeah, let's initialize it, and why not? And I'm really sure they will fail because I don't have an AWS account where they will go, but yeah, we can just see and wait. Yeah, actually, I don't know what OBS does with a plain pause here, but if I is this going to stop like recording though? Because I don't want to stop because it's been like 23 minutes and 5 seconds from me talking. So I don't want to do that. Okay, so Terraform has successfully initialized, so that is really, really nice. And here, usually you'll get some files. If you see here is the .terraform. This one was not here before because it got initialized into my local machine. But if you go to your Visual Studio Code, you'll see that right away, which is over here. And if you go back to the video where we are here in VS Code, you remember that we did not have that Terraform file and that Terraform log HCL file, Terraform log file, because we did not initialize before, but now we do. Okay, and they say to us, okay, it's successful, you can initialize, so now it's the best way that we can apply that. So let's give it a try. Terraform apply. In apply method, here we have two commands in one. We have the Terraform plan, Terraform validate, and also it will give us some Terraform apply if we want to prove it or not. So this is the plan and also the validation. It will say to us that okay, Terraform is going to create these resources from scratch into our cloud provider, and yeah, the one that we set for the random strings. But unfortunately, as I said earlier, we do not have an AWS account yet, so we cannot test that. So technically, there would be around 59 resources to add, which is wow, really? That's crazy. Okay, let's, yeah, for that much files, that's crazy though. Okay, so yeah, that'd be the same thing, and this is like another tutorial how we can provision that KS cluster, which is a bit easier, and we can show that in why not? We can. Okay, let's go to. We have to. Okay, that's where we stop. Because it's asking us to go to another one. But you get the idea, I believe. This is the same thing as we did in AWS. We're going to do the same thing as we did for AWS. We're going to do the same thing in Azure. And that's pretty much it. That's done. This is how we use the multi-cloud deployment in Terraform. But yeah, sorry for taking too long. I'll review the video myself a bit later if I have made any mistakes, or if I've talked too much sometimes or nonsense. Just let me know, and it'll be good that we can improve together um, in this journey that we're going to take. So thank you, and see you to the next one.